Alabama feels like they are officially back to compete in the college football playoffs. Alabama just feels like they are back in general as one of the top teams in college football right now. You already know what time it is. Welcome back in to the NFL with AJL, episode 123. You could have been anywhere else in the world. There are millions of podcasts out there, but you chose to be tapped in with us on all things NFL Week 5 and a crazy college football Week 6 as well. Hope God has been good to you and you've been blessed since we've last been on the show. I know it's been a little bit. It's been hectic with the content, hectic with life, but you know the show never stops. And we're going to continue all season long to bring you these episodes, to bring you this content. Y'all get down in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking of the season so far. The description down low at NFL with AJL is all social media and podcast platforms. You are tapped in with AJ on the NFL with AJL. Y'all, please make sure to like and share wherever you may be watching. Subscribe on YouTube. Please hit the bell so you never miss a post. And like I just mentioned, the link tree in the description is every bit of social media and podcast content. All things NFL Week 5, all things college football Week 6. Alabama handles Vanderbilt in Tuscaloosa 30-14 as Alabama officially seems like they are back in college football. They are at the top of the SEC, vying for that championship spot, vying for a college football playoff spot. We'll see those rankings coming out here in a few weeks, and there's no telling how crazy those are going to be. The first ranked meeting between these two teams since 1937, and Vanderbilt was 5-0 for the first time since 2008, and it looked like there was going to be Vanderbilt's game early on. You had a big 3rd and 4 stop from Vandy early after Alabama was dealing, and the 4th down comes down to being intercepted by Vanderbilt. That was actually Ty Simpson's first turnover of the year, who entered with the best touchdown to interception ratio in college football, 11 touchdowns, no interceptions. And then Vanderbilt turns around and takes that 93 yards down the field on an offensive drive to open up the ball game. I mean, Vanderbilt's defense at one point had Ty Simpson, who has looked great over the last couple of weeks in college football, playing some of his worst football of the season with the pressures, with the coverages. That's a massive win for the defensive unit for the Vanderbilt Commodores. Bama even came out and had a missed field goal late in the first quarter, so it felt like everything was turning Vanderbilt's way. It was actually a career-long attempt for the kicker, and it was a 47-yarder. He ended up missing that one. But just like against Georgia, Alabama was struggling against the run game, and Bama's defense really came in outside of the run game, saving the day with pressures on Diego Pavia, who is just clearly overrated, at least in this football game. He said it would be a blowout if Vanderbilt got to play their game. Clearly, Vanderbilt did not get to play their game, and Diego Pavia did not have a hand really in the win or the loss because his production wasn't anything to really be sought after in this matchup. They forced a fumble on him, which was another big one for Pavia. Bama held the ball for 18 minutes in the first half of this game. That was the total time of possession that they had for the entirety of last year's matchup versus Vanderbilt. Jeremy Bernard is breaking out in front of our eyes as well. He already has 6 touchdowns on the year. That is double what he had all last season, following Kalen DeBoer over from Washington. And this, just seemed like for a while that it was a massive defensive game between these two teams. Vanderbilt struggled to put together offense after the first 2 drives of the game, which, again, was big to see. You didn't know if they were going to come out and continue to score like they did. But then you turn around and look at Alabama offensively. They battled with field goals for most of this game after tying it up at 14. But at the end of it all, Bama dominated time of possession. They're good on 3rd down. They won the turnover battle. They only punted 1 time. I mean, they did all the right things to win at home in a crazy week of college football. But Alabama feels like they are officially back to compete in the college football playoffs. Alabama just feels like they are back in general as one of the top teams in college football right now. Big road win against Georgia, which, yes, you can make an argument. How much credit do you give to that for a team that can literally never beat you, no matter the circumstances? You get a good win here against Vanderbilt, but there are more big tests coming for Alabama, and y'all are absolutely roasting me in the comments, still getting traction on that college football week 1 overreaction when I said Alabama was going to win 4 games. Kalen DeBoer was going to be bought out. That is clearly not the case, as the FSU game is long behind them. They got at Mizzou this coming weekend, Tennessee, LSU, Oklahoma, and then at Auburn in the Iron Bowl to finish the season. You are in Jordan-Hare, so that will be a crazy game. But Ty Simpson is an absolute baller. I mean, Alabama's quarterback is playing like he is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He has to be in the Heisman race near the top of it. 70.3% completion, just under 1,500 yards, 13 touchdowns, 1 interception. He is first in the SEC in passing yards. He's second in the SEC in passing yards per game, only behind John Mateer, who's at 304. Ty Simpson is at 296. He is second, tied at second with 13 passing touchdowns in the SEC. And then he is top 3 in completion percentage on the year in SEC at 70.3%. Vanderbilt clearly overrated. Alabama feels like they're back. Their quarterback is in the Heisman competition. Let's get on to the next one as Texas and Florida square off for the 5th time ever. And Florida just comes out and embarrasses Arch Manning 29-14. Arch Manning with his first ever SEC road start. And I was pretty suspicious of what he was going to do in this game. And my suspicion served me right. Because what do you know? I even wanted to pick Florida in this game as I was picking in my group with my cousins. We pick every single week to, decide who's going to win in college football. And I was like, this kind of feels like a trap game for Texas. Like, is Arch Manning really going to do well on the road in his first ever SEC start in the swamp of all places against that elite Florida defense? No, he didn't. Texas became the fastest AP poll preseason #1 team to go unranked in just 5 weeks. It previously took twice as long, 12 weeks actually, so a little more than twice as long in 2012 when USC did it. Florida just controlled this entire ball game, though. 13 plays, 84 yards, and a touchdown just right out of the gate versus that Texas defense who just could not stop Jaden Baugh. It was all Florida the whole game, but especially in the first quarter. I mean, they lead 10-0. They have 94 rushing yards, almost 7 yards per play. They're already outgaining Texas by 110 yards after the fourth quarter. And they came into this game with an awful offense. I mean, points per game, pass yards per game, big plays, third down percentage. Like, they were all 90th or worse in the country. There's 135 teams for reference when you're looking at that in the country rankings. Texas's defense was elite last season. They were second in takeaways with 31. And their defense was kind of the only reason they got into this game, as they saved the day. They forced a fumble, which ended up leading to their first offensive touchdown. But their defense also had DJ Lagway, one of the worst quarterbacks in the country, looking like he was actually a serviceable guy. And that's going to go out and save Billy Napier's job probably. DJ Lagway, 75%, 298 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. We're talking about the same DJ Lagway that threw 5 interceptions against LSU. That DJ Lagway, who's got all potential, but no real production in this game. Texas's elite defense, up until this point, really, just made DJ Lagway look like Arch Manning should have looked and like we expected him to look coming into this game. You could have flipped the stat lines. But no, Arch played the way he did. DJ Lagway played the way he did. Florida, again, had all of the momentum in this ball game. I mean, heading into the end of the first half, you get a safety on Texas. Like, that was kind of the dagger right there. They're up 19-7. But Texas put so much pressure on Arch Manning, and, like, it's not all Arch's fault, but when your running backs come out and have 9 carries for 11 yards, Arch Manning was your leading rusher. Steve Sarkisian has to fix this. Steve Sarkisian has been at the center of what is going on with Arch Manning all year long. And Florida's pass defense just came up big in this game. Or is it more like Arch Manning crumbled as he threw 2 interceptions, 2 of them, one of which you're trying to drive back and win in the fourth quarter? The Gators' defensive line absolutely took over. They held Texas to a season-low 52 rushing yards. Arch Manning had 41 of those rushing yards. Texas's offense only scored 7 points in the first half. The Florida run game came alive. 159 rushing yards is the most they've had all year versus a reputable team, specifically speaking in the FBS. And after the first half was over for Arch Manning, I mean, 6 of 12, 63 yards and a touchdown. Florida's running the ball at 113 yards in total. Texas only allowing 61 yards entering the game. Texas being outgained by almost 200 yards. And we're just talking about the first half of this ball game here. But the biggest takeaway of this all with the Texas Longhorns is Arch Manning is officially the most overrated quarterback we may have ever seen in college football history. The last name on the back of his jersey earned him that preseason Heisman favorite, and respectfully, it earned Steve Sarkisian and the Texas Longhorns the number one ranking coming into the year. Arch Manning's going to stay in college football as long as he possibly can, and all of the Mannings and everything inside of Arch's life points directly to that. Needs to be pointing directly to that for him, rather. There will be no NFL draft anytime soon for Arch Manning if he knows what's best for him. Because when you come out of the draft and you kind of get those pre-draft grades, and then some guys go back into the draft like Carson Beck did because you're not really as highly scouted as you wanted to be. We saw Cam Ward coming out of Washington State. That's why he went to Miami for the final year. Like, it's going to be the same thing with Arch Manning. Arch Manning now has the second most interceptions in the SEC behind the one and only DJ Lagway. DJ has 7. DJ threw 5 in the LSU game. Arch Manning has 5 total interceptions on the year, only 2 behind DJ Lagway. DJ Lagway averaged 4 more yards per pass than Arch Manning did. And I'm promising myself that I'm going to get into some more film study for you guys with Arch Manning, because it's got to absolutely be dissected. I mean, yes, his O-line is not good right now, which is going to affect all of his tape. But Arch Manning was also sacked 6 more times in this ball game. His O-line just is bad right now. It's not doing him any favors. Obviously, the first game of the year that I did film study on versus Ohio State, 17 of 30, 170 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He had a decent rushing production in that game, but Arch Manning was missing throws at receivers' legs. He was throwing wide. He was overthrowing. I mean, he was just missing the layups. Comes out against San Jose State, obviously plays well. UTEP, which is probably the biggest alarming thing of the season, because that is by far, out of the 3 defenses he struggled against, UTEP is by far the worst one. And he came out and had his worst performance of the season against UTEP. 10 straight incompletions, 11 for 25 on the day, 114 yards, 44% completion, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He did get into the end zone twice with his legs, 9 carries, 51 yards. But UTEP is a below average defense in most areas. Outside of being top 15 in passing yards per game, which is clearly why Arch struggled in that one, UTEP is not solid the other way around. Then you look into this Florida game, 16 of 29, 263 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 INTs, both of those thrown in the fourth quarter, 15 carries for 37 yards, and Arch was sacked 6 times in this game. Arch was sacked 3 times in total coming into this ball game. Arch Manning will not be going to the NFL draft anytime soon, and he is now officially the most overhyped college football quarterback we have ever laid our eyes on. Georgia handles Kentucky 35-7. This will be a very quick one. You know, I always got to talk about my dogs, as when we come away with a win, we're going to talk about it here on NFL with AJL. The dogs started early and really got on the board on their first drive in this game, which was great to see, unlike the last 2 weeks against Alabama, against Tennessee, when you're constantly having to claw back. Running the ball is Georgia's identity for sure. Like, there's no question about that. 2 rushing touchdowns from Gunnar Stockton, another 2 from Dylan Bell. Georgia's O-line, I think, is the biggest test they're going to face all year, outside of Mike Bobo's play calling. Our junior, Monroe Freeling, being injured early on at left tackle, and then you have a sub 300-pound redshirt sophomore go and play left tackle, was really something to watch in this game, and Georgia still was able to come away with a massive win. Yes, it's Kentucky. Yes, you should have beat them, but you're coming off of a loss, so it could have been a trap game at home in the SEC. Like, you do not take these SEC matchups for granted. And Georgia looked great, again, early on, 4 for 4 on third down through the first 2 drives, with one of those starting at the 4-yard line because Zach Branch, for some reason, fair caught a punt that he really should have let bounce. They finished a 96-yard drive with a Gunnar Stockton rushing touchdown. Again, 2 of those in the first quarter just for Gunnar, and multiple big runs for Gunnar Stockton early on. Kentucky comes around, they score in 40 seconds in the second quarter. So it's like, okay, now we're starting to see where we're really going to have to respect this team more than we probably did coming into this one. But Georgia's O-line just continued to get no breaks, especially with injuries as it went along. The entire left side of the offensive line was either a redshirt freshman or sophomore. So a lot of young, inexperienced, not a lot of snaps guys that we were seeing out there, and Georgia held up. I mean, one of the right O linemen was battling through a shoulder injury and was still playing in this game. Dylan Bell kind of had a breakout game as well. I mentioned 2 rushing touchdowns for him earlier. He did have an insane one-handed catch. We saw Puglisi come in, and, he has a very quick, very snappy arm. He delivers the football with real command while running that offense. But Georgia did what they had to do. It was the 44th straight win versus unranked opponents, which is the longest active streak in the country right now, specifically in FBS. And the Dogs haven't lost 2 straight since 2018, and they haven't lost back-to-back SEC games since Kirby Smart's first year here in 2016. UCLA throttles Penn State to unranked status in a 42-37 win that Penn State had no business losing. And Penn State fans, I'm going to come on here yet again and try to give you my empathy. But you have to accept that it is time to let go of James Franklin after this loss to UCLA. He's just not the guy. I saw a tweet. I don't do Twitter a lot, but I saw a tweet. James Franklin is the guy before the guy. It's like that bridge coach that you have before the Super Bowl winning coach comes in. It was like Jeff Fisher before Sean McVay. Probably a bad example, but you guys get what I'm saying. James Franklin is just not it. But neither is Drew Aller. Like, if Penn State fans are going to sit here and try to convince themselves that their quarterback, Drew Aller, is one of those ones, they got to have a real conversation in the mirror. They got to have a real conversation with the scouting department. They got to have a real conversation with their coaching staff. Because Drew Aller was the best player on the field for Penn State, and that wasn't saying much considered you just lost to a winless, until now, freshly fired head coach unit in UCLA. Penn State was 24.5-point favorites, and they were down 20 at the half. UCLA led literally 27-7 going into halftime. I mean, they just started out hot. UCLA had 269 rushing yards in this game against that Penn State defense. Penn State struggled. This is the 3rd game in 2025 that they have 200 or fewer passing yards. But you're going to try to sit here and tell me that Drew Aller can be one of those ones. I don't think Drew Aller is NFL draft worthy. I think Drew Aller could genuinely be an undrafted NFL free agent if he goes to the draft. And the Bruins just dominated time of possession. They held the ball for almost 40 minutes, 39 minutes and 10 seconds of time of possession. That's a long, drawn-out, embarrassing loss. Like, if James Franklin can't win a whiteout game against Oregon that they potentially blow a lead in the 4th quarter to, and then you can't beat an unbeaten, all defeated UCLA team. And would you know, talking about Drew Aller again, how does Penn State lose that game versus Oregon? Drew Aller throws an interception to a coverage that he's seen before, on a team's coverage that he's seen before. You would think after letting the Oregon game slip away that they would be ready to put belt to ass to UCLA. UCLA literally lost 2 games to the group of 5, and they got beat by New Mexico 35-10. You had a coach making his Power 4 debut who just got promoted after the firing. UCLA scored on the first 5 drives. They were 6 for 6, perfect in the red zone. Again, ran for almost 300 yards. They punted once, dominated that time of possession. They never held a lead the whole season, and in this game, they never trailed. I will say that again. A winless, freshly head coach team in UCLA had never led the whole season, and in this game, they never trailed. 27-7 out of the gate. Perfect in the red zone. Held the ball for damn near 70% of the ball game. Penn State is the first top 10 team to lose to an 0-4 team or worse since 1985. It hasn't been done in 40 years. It's just time for James Franklin to go. And Penn State fans need to accept that, because your next games are at Iowa, at Ohio State, and versus Indiana. I'll be honest, I don't know if any of those are winnable. I don't know if Penn State will win a ball game over the next month with that schedule, with that coaching, with that quarterback, with that talent. And what's so sad is Penn State returned a lot of talent from last season outside of Tyler Warren, who went to the draft. And even at times, it seemed like they couldn't get him the ball last year. Looking at you, Andy Kotelnicki. Looking at you, James Franklin. But in their defense, the wide receivers are not good. There's no separation whatsoever. And when you don't have separation from your wide receivers, you are not going to be able to win football games. I don't care who you're playing. You're not going to be able to have effective offensive drives if your wide receivers aren't creating separation. And we saw that yet again. We saw that multiple times last year. And now it's showing up big in an ugly loss. And again, Drew Aller is just an average quarterback. The play calling from Andy Kotelnicki does not support the talent on the team. And that's kind of in a negative way. You really need to dumb down the play calling to support the talent on the team. And Penn State fans, I'm sorry, but we just got to keep it real here. We got to call a spade when we see a spade on NFL with AJL. And to finish out college football week 6, what should have been potentially the best game of the weekend was arguably the most disappointing as Miami dominates FSU. It says 28-22. This was a 28-3 ball game. 28-3 ball game going into the fourth quarter. And Miami has just now solidified themselves as the best team in college football. Nobody in the country looks like the Miami Hurricanes do right now. They have the 3 best wins in college football: Notre Dame, USF, and Florida State in Doak Campbell. They beat Notre Dame to open the season. Their offense and defense are looking absolutely elite right now. Carson Beck has taken a leap. A 3-star recruit in Malachi Toney at wide receiver is snapping. And almost single-handedly, he did dismantle FSU. Miami should be ranked the number 1 team in the country right now because when you look at Ohio State, who's still the number 1 team, yeah, they kind of squeaked by Washington for a minute and then they got past them. They've beat Minnesota. They've beat Texas, who is not impressive. And I don't like to do this whole, oh, well, this team beat this team, so that means that this team's win is higher or lower. No. Take the context of the wins for what they are, because Florida State beating Alabama to open the season was huge. Miami's defense shutting down Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame to open the season was huge. Miami just now going to Florida State to beat them in Doak Campbell was huge. Miami's the best team in college football right now, and I don't know how we can really argue ourselves any way around it. The Canes scored 28 straight after FSU had the early field goal. And just, again, Miami's defense, like, if Miami did not have a defense last year, they have literally 180 that thing. Like, this is a completely different team defensively. Shout out to Mario Cristobal getting the hires right, genuinely. Because you thought FSU, watching that game, was going to come down and score to open it up. Not the case. Miami said, not today. We playing like we still in Miami, brother. The Seminoles did not score until 10 minutes left, score touchdown until 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Miami's defense held FSU to 3.5 yards per attempt rushing this season. That is by far the fewest for FSU. That's with Castellanos. That's with that running back room. Florida State also had 3 more turnovers, and they were all in Miami territory. Personally, I thought both the Castellanos' picks were pretty ugly, and that was a prime example as to why FSU's offense stalled out in this game. But Miami's defense it's no joke this year. Like, again, if you have watched Miami's defense from last year to this year, like, you've got to be mind blown. You hope that this is a perpetual change under Mario Cristobal while he's the head coach at Miami. FSU came in with an 83% touchdown percentage in the red zone, which led the ACC coming in. They had 23 drives, 19 of those were touchdowns. And really, Thomas Castellanos got brought back to earth in this game. 2 bad air ball interceptions, if I don't mind saying that. And he has 5 interceptions in his last 3 games through 2 picks. I think it was 2 picks against Virginia. So Thomas Castellanos is getting into a bit of a turnover problem here. But FSU played from behind all game. Like, you cannot let a powerhouse like Miami come into your building and put up 28 unanswered in the newly renovated Doak Campbell that you just had a major win in to open the year. Miami's offense, though, I mean, big time. Malachi Toney is literally blossoming in front of our eyes. And the fact that he was a 3-star recruit, like, shout out Miami, shout out Mario Cristobal, shout out that staff. Regretfully, I must inform you that Carson Beck has taken a leap at quarterback and throws a gorgeous deep ball, maybe the best deep ball in college football right now. I might be biased because of how many deep shots he threw against FSU, but hey, it is what it is. Again, a spade is a spade. CJ Daniels, have yourself a day too, man. I mean, some balls, just some absolute balls doing the FSU chant into the camera after going up 28-3. Like, if it wasn't over then, it definitely felt over after that for FSU fans. But Miami just absolutely dominated Florida State again, 28-3 heading into the fourth quarter. Too little, too late for FSU. Florida State fans, I got to keep it honest with you. You looked uninspired. You looked lazy. The tackling was horrendous. Like, is this last year's FSU team in terms of effort? Because it kind of felt like it, just a small encapsulation of this game. They were chasing down Miami's players from behind on damn near every single touchdown, like untouched. They weren't even getting a hand on these guys. You can't rely on 2 fourth-quarter onside kicks to bail you out from the best team in the country when you take 50 minutes of game time to score your first touchdown. And again, Miami, 3 best wins in college football. Notre Dame, USF, FSU, all ranked, all good wins. Your defense really wins you all of those games, especially the Notre Dame game to open the year. I mean, go check the channel. You saw how I was praising that Miami defense because it was an absolute eyesore. Y'all get in the comments. Let me know what you think of that college football week 6 recap. If you're not watching college football, at least just from last season to this season, I don't know what to tell you because college football is unquestionably better than the NFL. The pageantry, the traditions, the games, the environments, just the histories of these teams. Like the games just feel so much more exciting and so much more encapsulating to talk about. You don't have marching bands in the NFL. You don't have fight songs in the NFL. Yeah, you have traditions, but like the rivalries in college football are absolutely unmatched compared to the NFL. And that's in a good way. Like you're telling me you would rather watch the Iron Bowl over Falcons Saints? Or you would, or rather you would watch Falcons Saints over the Iron Bowl? You would rather watch Patriots Steelers, an old school rivalry, over the Iron Bowl? Or the college football national championship? Like, yeah, the Super Bowl might be better than the national championship in college football. But you're telling me you would have wanted to watch Chiefs Jags Monday Night Football over that Miami FSU game? Yeah, maybe so with how the game played out. But in terms of what was leading up to that game, I just think it's unquestionable right now that college football is the best football sport that is exposed to us. And if you're not watching between last season and this season again, I don't know what to tell you. I do not know what to tell you. You already see I got the Drew Brees jersey on. You already know we're switching over into the NFL segment of the show. And yes, I'm taking it off the top with my New Orleans Saints. Because we got a win this weekend, boy. And I'll be honest, I knew we were going to win. Also, the Saints won. The Falcons did not. I know y'all are on a bye week, but it's always hashtag FTF over here on NFL with AJL. And don't you forget it. I knew the Saints were going to win this ball game. Like, genuinely, I did. Because you were in it to win the first 2 weeks between the Cardinals and the Niners. You get your ass blasted by Seattle, like burn the tape. I don't even want to think back to that game. I can't believe I actually invited a Seahawks fan over to watch that game. Yes, I suffered through that. Third week of the season, I was like, is this what the Saints are going to do? Is this what everybody saw that I didn't see? Is this how we come off to the outside world? And then when you play close against the Bills, I was like, okay, we're at home next week. We got Jackson Dart. God rest his ACL, literally. Malik Neighbors is out. We just played Buffalo tough. This is Jackson Dart's first road start. Taysom Hill is back. We were going to win this ball game, and that's exactly what we came in and did. And don't get me wrong, the Giants came in like they were hot. First 2 possessions, touchdowns. But the last 3 possessions of the first half were 2 punts and a fumble. And then the Giants ended the game on a 5 straight drive turnover streak. First time since the Jets did that in 2015. What would you know? Another New York Jets, another New York football team. Spencer Rattler was great in this game, especially in the first half. 16 of 24, 187 passing yards, 1 touchdown. Some real effective rushing yards, too, in clutch moments, and playing his best football yet. Not even maybe. He is playing his best football yet. And we just have to be honest with ourselves about what Spencer Rattler is actually bringing to the table for the Saints, because he is not the problem at all. And with the way this O-line just turned around and played, which we'll get to in a second, oh, baby. Oh, baby. Jackson Dart started pretty comfortable in this game, too. I mean, he was actually completing 100% of his passes. I think he was 6 for 6, and he slipped to about 50% completion down the stretch of the game and really down the stretch of the first half. He did have that mental error fumbling just coming out of the half. I mean, he just dropped the ball. Shout out Cam Jordan for jumping on top of that. But Demario Davis, that man is 36 years old playing like he's still 25. Do y'all realize that? Do you realize that we're witnessing greatness in a linebacker who is post 35? You know how rare that is at that fearless position to do that unless you're a Bobby Wagner or a I'm trying to think of another. I almost said Frank Gore, but that's an old running back, obviously, not an old linebacker. But you guys get what I'm getting at. Jonas Sanker continuing to be amazing. A starting caliber player in the NFL. Demario Davis forcing that fumble as well. And then Jonas Sanker recovering it. Super love to see that. Like veteran and rookie working together perfectly to make a big play happen. We obviously saw the massive 87-yard touchdown pass from Spencer Rattler to Brandon Cooks. I mean, Spencer Rattler pressure in his face, threw the ball perfectly down the field. Rashid Shaheed is the fastest offensive player on record this year. And what would you know? It is the longest scoring play or touchdown pass, one of the two. I need to get clarity around it. For the Saints in 9 years since Drew Brees threw it to Brandon Cooks, who is now a New Orleans Saint again. Kendre Miller being healthy may be the next best thing for the Saints offense this season as well. It just further supports my trade Alvin Kamara agenda, which like it pains me to say. It really does. But if for some reason the Saints flip it around over these next few games, I will rescind my trade Alvin Kamara agenda. Taysom Hill being back, beautiful. Gives Kellen Moore even more of a chance to be creative. We saw him complete a pass. We saw him get some first downs. We saw him run quite a few times as well. And our offense finally took the first snap of the season with a lead. The New Orleans Saints were the only team in the NFL coming into this game that did not have a single offensive snap. Just a snap, y'all, with a lead. Burgess, I don't know who you are, but thank you for that pass breakup on the flea flicker that Jackson Dart threw down the field. Thank you, sir, because that could have been a major embarrassment. And like I said, our defense won us this game, no doubt. No doubt about it. The 5 straight turnovers is just everything to write home about and more. Cam Scatterbu also was getting just about everything he wanted in this ball game. He's the perfect fit for the New York Giants. The dude was running like Derrick Henry, and then he turned around and fumbled like Derrick Henry as Brian Bresee gets in there, knocks it loose, heads up play by Jordan Howden, takes off down the field, showing off that 40 time. Amazing scoop and score. I mean, I'm dancing around in my living room. I'm like, let's go. We're about to win a fucking ball game. Like, screw everybody that said we were a 0-win team. And screw everybody that said we were a 1-win team. Now we have the Patriots at home this week. But if the Saints play like they did the last couple of weeks, yes, I get it. You're getting a Mike Vrabel. You're getting a Stephon Diggs. You're getting a Drake May who is turning into a superstar in front of us. But if the Saints can continue to play like that, it's going to be exciting to see. We're not going to be just a 1-win ball game, 1-win ball club like y'all like to say that we are. And New Orleans just welcomed Jackson Dart to the league, as we should have. Jackson Dart had 3 turnovers himself. Again, 5 turnovers on the day for the Saints. The roughing the passer calls in the NFL are just getting absolutely ridiculous at this point. You're telling me that this play from Carl Granderson was roughing the passer? What else is he supposed to do? He literally knocked Dart down and then kept himself up from falling on Jackson Dart. Is he supposed to deploy a little parachute on his way down? Is he supposed to like shoot some stilts out of his arms or something to just stop himself in midair? Kellen Moore on the sidelines getting fired up, getting pissed off about that. I love it because that's not the type of guy he is, but he doesn't ride for those bullshit calls. And you are literally, like Kellen Moore was saying it, the Saints head coach was saying it, you are literally trained to hit and tackle like that. It was like, I understood why they threw the flag. Rookie, you want to protect him. NFL carries a lot of liability with these types of hits. Like, that's why the league calls these plays the way that they do. So they can go back and say, hey, we viewed this as a detrimental play to health. We're not just letting it happen in front of our eyes like we do penalties and pass interferences all the time. But that was definitely one of the softest roughing the passer calls I've seen, without question. Kool-Aid McKinstry breakout game. Yeah, maybe 2 interceptions, a pass breakup. But One of them was a bad throw from Dart. Actually, was kind of a bad intercept, not a bad interception, but he caught it at the 5 or the 6 yard line. Versus if you just would have let it be incomplete on fourth down, the Saints would have got the ball, 20 yards ahead of where he was. And Kool-Aid's been picked on all season. Like, let's not forget that. He is still getting big boyed on a lot of one-on-ones, and just he is not a bona fide cornerback one. I would love to think that he is, but he kind of didn't show that at Alabama, had a little bit of attitude problems, and now we're seeing in the NFL, like, what it's really going to be turning into. So I don't think it's a breakout game for Kool-Aid McKinstry. The second one was just kind of an athletic play from Kool-Aid. He kind of jumped out there and just snagged it out of the air, which was nice to see. But it was more of a bad throw from Dart than it was a good play by Kool-Aid McKinstry. We need to cut Blake Grupe. I don't know what the hell's going on with Blake Grupe right now, but he has missed 5 of his 15 field goals. NFL kickers are usually 80% plus in the league. He is at 66% right now. I do not know how Blake Grupe is still employed in the National Football League. It's probably because Mickey Loomis is still our general manager. But this is not going to be a Mickey Loomis shred fest. This is to celebrate the first win of the season for the New Orleans Saints. No sacks given up on this defensive line is impeccable. Impeccable work by the New Orleans Saints. No sacks. Kelvin Banks handling Abdul Carter. Kayvon Thibodeau being handled as well. Dexter Lawrence being handled. Brian Burns. No sacks. Torricelli Simpkins looking absolutely great. Cesar Ruiz, all respect to you, brother. I know we got a lot of money invested in you, but everybody in that building can see that Torricelli Simpkins needs to be a bona fide starter on that offensive line. And when we're healthy, it's damn near perfect. The Giants were pressuring Spencer Rattler on 55% of his dropbacks. That's 17 pressures, no sacks. That's the most pressures by any defense this season without a sack. Absolutely impeccable work by the New Orleans Saints. The Denver Broncos go into Lincoln Financial Field and end the Eagles' 12-game home win streak as they come back down from down 14 in the fourth quarter to put it away. Are the Philadelphia Eagles the new Baltimore Ravens right now? Like, your defense is selling you in back-to-back games, especially in the fourth quarter. You are blowing leads, cannot be trusted late in games these last 2 weeks. Tampa really should have beat you. You're not giving Saquon Barkley the ball but 6 times? Is this John Harbaugh not feeding Derrick Henry? This is a perfect example of coaching matters in the NFL at all levels of sports, but especially here, because Kevin Patullo is bad. And yes, he is coaching like he wants to lose his job, like he wants to be fired. He's got way too much talent, and he doesn't know what to do with it. It was like when the Browns had Freddie Kitchens, and you had Baker Mayfield, and you had Nick Chubb, and you had OBJ, and you had that defense, and you had David Njoku. But they were horribly coached, and Freddie Kitchens was fired after 1 season. Kevin Stefanski comes in, 2-time coach of the year. Clearly, he cleans things up, and he's still rocking it out over there. But Kevin Patullo, he literally has the car's too fast. The new iPhone has too many gadgets. Too many upgrades with the technology. Like, whatever you want to call it is what Kevin Patullo is experiencing right now. 11 rushing attempts for 45 yards in this ball game is blasphemous. And what's crazy is you're averaging almost 5 yards a carry. Saquon Barkley was 6 carries, 30 yards. A ton of penalties for the Eagles. You were bad on third down. 14 plays for 27 yards and 4 punts was the best you could come up with in the fourth quarter, Kevin Patullo. And then the defense is turning around and giving up, 18? 19 unanswered? I think it was 17. I think I had my numbers all wrong there. Excuse me, y'all. That's blasphemous for a Vic Fangio defense. The 12-game home run streak is over for Philadelphia, but the Philadelphia Eagles needed this loss to get back right so they can make the Super Bowl again. Because if they continue to play like this, and respectfully, like they have all year, they're not going to go back to the Super Bowl. They're damn sure not going to win one if you can't even get there. That's just the obvious. But you have to be able to make adjustments and get right on both sides of the football, especially in the second half. And really for the entire game with the offenses in some of these cases. I thought it was kind of funny. A.J. Brown literally caught Devontae Smith on the Hail Mary to end the game. Clearly it wasn't intentional, but he literally defended him, caught him. Legend has it they're still laying right there on the ground after the Hail Mary is all said and done. Now, the referees in this game, the referees in the Broncos-Eagles game were just absolutely horrendous. I mean, you're telling me that is not pass interference on Dallas Goedert? You're telling me that's not intentional grounding on Bo Nix? Where was the receiver in the area? The NFL officiating week after week after week continues to draw question marks. Like, we'll have some weeks that are good in officiating. We'll get a little jaded because some playoff games were called cleanly, or maybe they're letting them play, making up for calls because they missed calls, whatever, right? But when you look at a big-time matchup like this, and you just don't throw the flag? I mean, we take a look in the Kansas City game. For Trevor Lawrence's interception that he threw, really the Jaguars game, contextually, you write that off for Trevor Lawrence. But a pick play with the referee right there, I mean, he's literally right there, and you just don't see the call. You don't see the tug on the jersey for Dallas Goedert. You don't see no receiver in the area for Bo Nix. But we're supposed to believe that these guys are calling the game at the highest level possible. Okay, National Football League. But one thing we're not going to do is blame Jalen Hurts for this ballgame's loss. He had a 57-yard bomb to Smitty over Riley Moss. He had a 50-yard wheel route touchdown to Saquon Barkley, which he drew up himself, not Kevin Patullo. That's why Jalen Hurts is levels ahead of your favorite quarterback. Fourth down ball to Smitty, perfect. When it was needed, perfect. I guess you could get on his ass for only having 2 rushing attempts, but the team ran the ball 11 times. Like Saquon Barkley only had 6 carries. And let's not forget that the year 2025 marks Jalen Hurts' 13th different play caller since 2016. Yes, you heard that correctly. That is 13 different offensive coordinators. 13 different, to a degree, offensive schemes. And Jalen Hurts is balling in every single one of them. Jalen Hurts is looking like the quarterback he is supposed to for the Philadelphia Eagles. Even with Kevin Patullo calling shit right now, clearly he's able to pull something out of thin air when Jalen Hurts plays the way he does against that Broncos defense, who is elite, by the way. We're going to talk about the Broncos here in a second. You play that way versus the Rams defense. I mean, you absolutely snap in the moments when you're needed. So we're not going to blame Jalen Hurts for this loss. That is one thing we are not going to do. We are not going to let these NFL fans have more fake-ass ammunition to throw at Jalen Hurts. Go take that somewhere else. Go take your unball-knowing self somewhere else. Now let's talk about the Broncos. Bo Nix and Sean Payton are going to be a match made in heaven for years to come, and Denver Broncos fans have to be enjoying the Sean Payton show right now. You guys see. You guys perfectly see. I miss him very much. I wanted him back in the first year. I did. But when you have a general manager like you do, and he does not let you get through your draft classes and work up the team the way that you do, you leave. And Sean Payton has a lot of freedom in Denver right now. And rightfully so, as he should. Like, Sean Payton is respected as that number one coach who came in and did it for the Saints. And shout out to the Broncos because they're letting him run it that way and they're treating him that way. But Bo Nix and Sean Payton, they're going to be a match made in heaven. They already are, right? Now, Bo Nix was bad again. He was awful for 3 quarters. Excellent in the fourth quarter, though. Again, it's not about how you start. It's about how you finish. 9 of 10 in the fourth quarter on passes, 126 yards, and a touchdown to engineer 3 crucial scoring drives in order to come back in this game. The clutch ability. I mean, this was a major confidence-building win for Bo Nix and the Broncos, and especially for the fan base. Like, this is a breakout moment. This is a breakout win for the Broncos. You're on the road in that environment. You beat the Super Bowl champs with that comeback, with those unanswered points. Second-year quarterback in that position, you could probably put it on 5 fingers which quarterbacks in the NFL would have been able to operate at that level in that position. I'm not calling Bo Nix elite on a Josh Allen, on a Lamar Jackson, on a Patrick Mahomes level, but I'm just saying he is one of the few quarterbacks, we saw it with our own eyes, just step into the link against the defending Super Bowl champs and hand them their only loss of the year. The defense for the Broncos, top tier per usual. I mean, Nick Bonito, 2.5 sacks. He's on pace to break the NFL sack record. Pat Surtain still playing like the defensive player of the year. And the Broncos are building something great. Like, I've always believed in this team since Sean Payton got there, even when Russell Wilson was there. I still thought that Sean Payton did good enough to fix Russ, but he knew Russ was older. He was eyeing his quarterback in the draft. Like, he wanted Bo Nix. And right now, they're making the shake with Evan Ingram, Cortland Sutton, J.K. Dobbins, and R.J. Harvey. Let Denver get of course, Jerry Jeudy as well. Let Denver, well, hold on. Excuse me. I believe Jeudy is gone, correct? Yes, Cleveland Brown. My apologies. He has actually been a Brown for a couple of years now, so please excuse my ignorance there. Imagine if Jerry Jeudy was still there, though. Imagine if he was. So let Denver get another offensive weapon, and I think everybody will keep paying attention, will be new pay attentioners, and will continue to pay attention to the Denver Broncos. Denver's defense recorded 3 stops in the fourth quarter, 5 consecutive holds to end the game, and the offense just started to churn. I mean, after scoring 3 points in the first 3 quarters, Denver's offense posted, 18 points in the final 15 minutes of the ball game, into which one of them, Sean Payton, went for 2 and just absolutely showed everybody, hey, this is why we do what we do. This is why we play the way that we do. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers outdueled the Seattle Seahawks 38-35 in Seattle for a potential game of the year. And it's everything that it was. I mean, this is a perfect example of situation matters in the NFL. Baker Mayfield, number 1 pick in 2018. With the Browns. With the Panthers. Fire with the freaking Bucs. Sam Darnold, 3rd overall pick in 2018. Very with the Jets, like seeing ghosts. Panthers. Vikings. Okay. And now he's with the Seahawks, looking absolutely phenomenal. Both of these guys are locked in. Both of these guys are absolutely locked in. One of the better regular season games you'll see all year. Like no question about it. This was a potential NFC championship game matchup. Throwback uniforms applied in a spectacular shootout between the 1st and 3rd overall pick of the 2018 draft. Pure cinema by the NFL script writers. Thank you very much, NFL. Keep these coming. We love you for these. But only if it's with the throwback uniforms. Please and thank you. Baker Mayfield is the MVP of the NFL right now. And you cannot deny it. You can try to, but it's not feasible at this point. He has 4 game-winning drives in 5 weeks. And if he beats Philadelphia last week, really like he should have, make that 5 for 5. Baker's playing confident. This is the best he's played in his NFL career, without question. Obviously, last year, it's just a continuation over into this year. He's got a cannon for an arm. He's seeing the field at a very high level. And Baker Mayfield is an elite teammate. The presence in that locker room, like it's got to be one of one. And to do this in that Seattle environment on the road, sorry, Logan, you're going to hear every bit of how the Bucs did what they did. His final touchdown pass on 2nd and 1, vintage Baker Mayfield. He was 5 for 7 on 3rd down passes with 4 first downs. That's the highest single game completion rate also by any quarterback this year with 88%. The Bucs are the first team in NFL history with 4 wins by 3 points or less in their first 5 games of the year. And now what's crazy with Seattle is entering week 5, Seattle had allowed the 3rd fewest points in the league, but you don't have Devon Witherspoon. You're still missing DeMarcus Lawrence. Julian Love, you'd love to have him back. So like that really fared differently when you don't have those guys. Sam Darnold is just continuing to show us that he is the future of this team, and that last year with Minnesota wasn't a fluke, and he is talking directly to me because I didn't think it was going to be replicable. But the Sam Darnold story, the Baker Mayfield story, is always going to live rent-free in my head because situation matters, and they were put in the right situation, and they're both playing at an MVP level. Sam Darnold's first touchdown pass to JSN in between two defenders and in front of a third, like that's elite. Sam Darnold was not making those types of throws 2 years ago, maybe in college at USC, but he wasn't making those throws in the NFL until this year. And obviously maybe last year at Minnesota. The final touchdown pass to Torrey Horton underneath all of that pressure in a shaky pocket, like that itself is worth a film review. That itself is worth a film study clip. Cooper Kupp still got it, man. Like, I don't care what y'all say. Be a stat merchant and watch the box score if you want. Cooper Kupp is still him. And we're going to see that as the years go on. And as this year specifically goes on. You can argue the difference in this game was the missed field goal for Seattle, like until Sam Darnold threw that interception, or until Clint Kubiak decided to put Jalen Milroe in on an option play that was just another fumble recovery for Tampa Bay. And you wouldn't know it, but the first touchdown in this game wasn't scored until there was about 2 minutes left in the first half. And let's just say this right now, too. Go ahead and give Emeka Egbuka the offensive rookie of the year right now. He's 4th in the league in yards. He's 2nd in the league in touchdowns. He's averaging 18 yards per catch, and he's scored in every game but one. Scored 2 touchdowns in his NFL debut to beat the Falcons. He caught all 7 targets for 163 yards. And this was really the Buckeye Bowl, right? This was a superstar Ohio State University wide receiver show. Emeka Egbuka and JSN both going off. They played 2 years together at Ohio State. JSN himself had 8 for 132 and a touchdown. Emeka Egbuka had 7 for 163 and a touchdown. So these guys combined 15 catches, almost 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. A lot of the stuff that we saw them do at Ohio State. To think that these guys were teammates at one point, just absolutely crazy. But the Seattle Seahawks are still a very good football team despite this loss. The secondary is just pretty terrifying right now, and this game obviously exposed that even more. They got to get healthy on that side of the ball. The Patriots stunned the Bills 23-20 behind Drake May's absolute arrival. Maybe the biggest win for the New England Patriots since the Tom Brady era has been done. Clearly the biggest win in Mike Vrabel's short head coaching stint with the New England Patriots right now. The Patriots are here. They're absolutely here. Buffalo debuted those icy, crispy uniforms on Sunday Night Football and came out with a loss. That's got to be heartbreaking for the fans. JV, I'm so sorry. The second early fumble from Buffalo was really the potential game-defying mistake, and Buffalo started from inside their 10-yard line twice in the first quarter. Shout out to the special teams from the Patriots. But this is another game with multiple penalties for Buffalo. They did it against my Saints. 3 turnovers, which led to 10 New England points, and it's just hard to win any game like that. The Drake May non-believers are looking absolutely silly this week, and I'll take the L on that because that includes me. He battled, I will not say he outplayed, he battled with Josh Allen big time, multiple elite level throws in this game to Kayshon Boutte, to Stephon Diggs. Obviously, the play in the fourth quarter where he is being dragged down and he is still able to make that play. Like, Drake May is a baller. I was absolutely sleeping on Drake May. This guy is the future. He is the franchise of the New England Patriots. And I think everybody knows that after this game. Like, this was the biggest win of his career. This will stand as one of the biggest wins of his early career. Because when you're able to go into Josh Allen's house and beat the Buffalo Bills, like the Patriots are back. The New England Patriots are back as a real football team. These guys are a playoff team. And I don't know anybody who would possibly want to see these New England Patriots in the playoffs. Mike Vrabel is a monster. Drake May, who we just anointed. Stephon Diggs, great revenge game. Travion Henderson, who they need to hand the backfield over to. Multiple defensive pieces in Milton Williams, Christian Gonzalez, Marcus Jones, who had a very nice interception on Josh Allen, just out-athleted, out-physicaled the throw and the play, honestly. And then he had a nice athletic pass breakup early on. I mean, just played the receiver perfectly, stuck his hand out there to get the ball deflected. Stephon Diggs definitely had the last laugh in his revenge game, though, with the win, ultimately. I mean, the kick to seal it from Bergales, I think was his last name, that would have been good from 70. That ball went in 52 yards at the top, above the uprights. I was like, wow, this might have been good from 72, 73. But Drake May with a fourth quarter comeback on the road in that environment, making those types of plays, you don't see that every day in the NFL. You just don't see that every day. New England was in control of this ball game from the start, even though the box score won't tell you that. New England held Buffalo to 20 points at home. Buffalo's at home and was held to 20 points. That's a great win for them. Like, that's a great win, not only for the Patriots, but for that defensive unit and for Mike Vrabel, who takes pride on that side of the football. But the pressure is on the Buffalo Bills now to win a Super Bowl. Like, it's now or never. The Bengals are banged up. Lamar Jackson is hurt, so the Ravens are in shambles. You own your division. The AFC South might present you a threat. Yes, the AFC West is clearly going to be the AFC West. Like, we know the Broncos, the Chiefs, the Chargers, they all reside over there. We're not going to talk about the Raiders. But, like, the pressure is now on the Buffalo Bills. This is not your division anymore that you won for the last 5 years. Mike Vrabel is already the best head coach in that division. Like, I'm not even going to try to beat around that bush, okay? Mike Vrabel, and if you don't think so yet, just wait for another few weeks. Just wait for another few weeks. I promise. He's better than Sean McDermott. Aaron Glenn's a rookie head coach, and we're just waiting on Mike McDaniel to be fired at this point. The pressure is on the Buffalo Bills to get it done because you have Josh Allen, who not only has a cannon, but a laser. He's your MVP. Josh Allen is everything that people wanted Cam Newton to be. Cam Newton just can never throw the football at a high level. But an absolute physical powerhouse, can run the football well, great locker room presence, hell of an athlete, great player. But Josh Allen has a cannon. And Josh Allen is a great leader. And Josh Allen is an MVP like Cam Newton was. Josh Allen was also your leading rusher in this game, Buffalo Bills fans. Now, we know James Cook has come in and saved the day over the last couple years, but that's never going to be a recipe for success against a Patriots team, even if you are at home. Like, you have to stop making Josh Allen play hero quarterback ball. And when you look at the red zones, when you look at the drives, Buffalo failed to score on 3 drives that enter Patriots territory. That's just something you cannot do in these divisional games. The loss ended Buffalo's 14-game regular season home winning streak dating back to November of 2023, and the Bills had 1 turnover in their first 4 games. They ended up having 3 turnovers in this one. And to finish out the show, this was a packed one on episode 123. We got through 9 games, y'all. We got through 9 games, and we are just about an hour in. We'll probably end the show with just a tad bit over an hour. Let's get it. This is amazing. The Jaguars stunned the Chiefs on Monday Night Football, 31-28. And the Jacksonville Jaguars should absolutely be taken seriously as an NFL team, a real NFL football team, because this defense is elite. Their scoring defense is 8th in the league, 20 points per game after the win against Kansas City. They went into the game 4th with, I think, 18 points per game. The efficiency is top 4 in defensive EPA per play. Again, EPA per play is the measure of the play, and depending on how the offense and the defense performed, did that give you a positive impact to get closer to points or a negative impact to get closer to points? This defense is top 4 in that category. They're also top 4 in coverage grade as well. They opened the year with 3+ takeaways in each of the first 4 games. They had 9 of them entering week 4, and they had 13 after week 4 because they forced 4 turnovers on San Francisco. They added the 99-yard pick 6 by Devin Lloyd. Absolutely shoots his defensive player of the year odds up. So they have 14 takeaways through 5 ball games. That is by far leading the NFL. By far. I mean, that is how you play championship level football. I'm not saying this is a championship level team, but that is a championship level defense. Devin Lloyd, the playmaker of the group, 4 interceptions, leads the NFL, 25 tackles, 4 pass breakups, Foyesade Oluokun, 44 total tackles, has led the NFL in tackles for year over year over year. A sack, 2 forced fumbles on his stats. Jordan Lewis, sticky in coverage. He shows up on the ball, 7 passes defended, 2 interceptions in 5 games. Josh Hines Allen, now, even though he only has half a sack on the year, 21 pressures and 8 quarterback hits heading into the Monday Night Football game. It's clear that he's winning snaps. Eric Armstead, team high 2.5 sacks so far. He got that interior disruption, really keeps your edges clean. And then Trayvon Walker, your former number 1 overall pick, the complimentary heat opposite of Josh Hines Allen. He has 2 sacks on the year. Steady tackle for loss production as well. But we just see Travis Hunter getting more comfortable every week on both sides of the football. Travis Hunter is playing like the bona fide two-way player he was drafted to be. He's already graded as a top 15 corner in the NFL, and he's playing about 70% offensive, 70% defensive snaps. And he's already showing us why he was voted the best wide receiver in college football by his peers. Now, you look at the stats, 13 catches, 118 yards, no touchdowns. Like, that's not going to really move you. But the 44-yard leaping catch between two defenders in the Chiefs game, like, that's huge. He had a huge outstretched catch against the 49ers, which I thought was great. And the coaches are starting to trust him more in coverage early. We see him guarding Travis Kelce. Actually did a really good job on the third down, kind of dropped his hands. That way he didn't, seem like he was getting wrapped up with Travis Kelce around the hip or whatnot. But even Liam Cohen, the Jaguars head coach, has come out and said, like, managing his two-way workload is definitely a work in progress, but they're looking for the development, the freshness, the effectiveness. And again, he hasn't played more than 68% snaps on offense or defense this season, so it shows that they're easing him in. And they're also like, they're letting him really have the moment to make these signature plays. Like, prime example, the catch on the 44-yarder. Travis Hunter's just going to get opened up even more in this offense. But like, he is an outcome influencer. And he is not even slowly. He's steadily proving that he can play and will play on both sides of the ball in the National Football League. He's being trusted more defensively with higher snaps. I mean, game-changing catches offensively here and there, but when Travis Hunter touches the ball offensively, it's magical. And you even see Liam Cohen kind of working him up out of the backfield for some creative looks as well. But they're still guarding him pretty well. Like, they're not going to release the full package yet. And the full comfort's really going to take time. And what is now the NFL's two-way lab that Travis Hunter is being really built in and introduced to as a Jacksonville Jaguar. Chiefs fans, I'm so sorry that this entire thing is going to be about the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, I'm going to get into a little bit of takeaways here for you, but like, this is about the Jags. This is a real football team. Trevor Lawrence is absolutely balling under Liam Cohen right now. Like, the box score won't jump out and show you that. And it's not better than the, 19, I believe it was 20 game stretch coming into the beginning of last season, ending from the prior season, like when everyone was talking about Trevor Lawrence to really take that leap at the quarterback position. But Trevor Lawrence is finally looking like that former number one overall pick, especially in this game. Everyone was crying and then laughing and then smiling after he ran it in for the touchdown to win the game. Of course, he slipped twice, which was crazy. But Trevor Lawrence with the wheels, Trevor Lawrence with the athleticism, Trevor Lawrence with the downfield throws, everything that he has been anointed and that we've come to know him for in the National Football League. It's why he was picked number one overall. And we see the Chiefs get a little bit of their speed back with Xavier Worthy. We see Patrick Mahomes throw a rare pick six off an amazing defensive bluff / disguise from Devin Lloyd, who again is first in the NFL in interceptions. The Chiefs were in scoring position, and that swing took not only points away, but momentum. That's the big part. The Chiefs were in scoring position when Devin Lloyd intercepted that ball and ran it 99 yards to the house. I mean, beautiful. And Patrick Mahomes attempted the tackle too, which was piss poor. Like, put that one in Canton. Not really, right? But like that's an elite picture, an absolutely elite picture. Jacksonville was outgained by almost 160 yards. They lost a turnover battle. They didn't get a sack on Patrick Mahomes, and they still won the football game. Now, Kansas City did throw a pick six. They did have 13 penalties in this game as well. Both of the quarterbacks were the leading rushers in this ball game, which is very odd, very interesting. And this was Jacksonville's first win over Kansas City since 2009. It snapped an 8-game losing streak. Kansas City should still be respected as one of the top teams in the league, even though they are 2-3, because they put up 28 points on the road against this defense. Their offense outscored Jacksonville's offense. Jacksonville's defense scored them 6 points. I guess you could say 7 if you want to give them credit for the extra point. So I would love to hear from y'all down in the comments, down in the chat. Let me know what you think of everything in episode 123. All things NFL Week 5, all things college football Week 6. As always, before we get out of here, let's bow our heads and thank the Lord for another great show. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the episode 123. Thank you for the fans. Thank you for the commitment to make this episode happen today. I know it's been a little busy the last week. I know it's, been a little bit of a long day today, but thank you for letting me stick it out with the notes and giving the fans what they really deserve. Thank you again for their support of the show. Thank you for allowing me to do this show, God, for letting this be one of my biggest dreams and ambitions and just having it come to fruition with the marketing, with the studio, with the fan base, and just really being able to live in your purpose, Lord. Thank you for this week. Again, thank you for the show. Thank you for the fans. And also, Lord, for anyone who's listening, as I always ask you to, the most important part of this prayer that we all send up to you in your son's name is that the people that need you the most right now, God, please show yourself to them. Anyone that's listening, anyone that's watching, if they need to know you, Lord, if they are struggling in life, or maybe if they're not and they just need to know you better, need to have a better relationship with you, Lord, I pray in any way, shape, or form that you would show yourself to them, show them that they are highly favored, show them that they are blessed, and show them that there is a plan for them. And it is only attainable by leaning on you because the will, the plan, the effect of the person's life that needs you is so big that they cannot do it by themselves and they need you, God. Thank you for everything. Let everyone sleep well. Let everyone have a good wake up to this podcast. In Jesus' name, we always pray. Amen. Thank y'all so much for tuning into the show. Y'all, please make sure to like and share before you get out of here. Subscribe on YouTube, hit the bell so you never miss a post. At NFL with AJL on all social media and podcast platforms. The link tree is down in the description of the video. I love y'all. I need y'all. And I will see y'all in the next one.